But they have been wrong about everything. Tens of millions of Americans do not listen to the lies that The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists.
The View thought they had seen it all, but Karoline Leavitt just dropped another lawsuit, and now the hosts are in pure meltdown mode. Whoopi Goldberg and Behar, who spent weeks mocking and belittling Leavitt, are suddenly scrambling as ABC's legal team rushes into crisis mode.
They love nothing more than tearing down women with the most petty and vacuous of insults.
Behind the scenes, producers are panicking, advertisers are watching closely, and the network is desperate to contain the damage before it spirals even further. With The View's credibility on the line, the question is, can they survive this lawsuit, or is this the beginning of the end? Karoline Leavitt has had enough. After weeks of The View hosts taking shots at her, mocking her career, and reducing her success to nothing more than looks and connections, she's firing back in the biggest way possible. Another lawsuit, and this time, the ladies of The View are panicking.
These women are completely out of touch with reality, and you're right, ABC should wake up. They just paid $15 million.
It all started when Behar, with her signature smugness, dismissed Leavitt's entire career by claiming the only reason she was hired was because she was a 10 in Trump's eyes. Seriously? A young woman who worked her way up in politics, landed a high-profile position, and became the youngest White House press secretary in history. And Joy wants to chalk it up to her appearance? The hypocrisy was off the charts.
Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table.
Then Whoopi Goldberg, never one to pass up an opportunity for a dramatic lecture, jumped in. She claimed Leavitt wouldn't even have a job without wokeness, saying she needed to do her homework before speaking on air. Whoopi thought she was delivering some kind of wisdom, but all she did was expose exactly what's wrong with shows like The View. They claim to uplift women, but the second a conservative woman succeeds, they tear her down.
I was filming and stand on that fact.
The moment Karoline Leavitt's latest lawsuit hit the headlines, The View turned into a full-blown disaster zone. Behind the scenes, the once confident hosts who spent weeks mocking and belittling Leavitt were suddenly scrambling. Internal sources say it was absolute chaos, with Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, and Sunny Hostin in a full-on panic over what could come next.
Turn on the television, girl.
Where are you going?
Where are you going?
I'm leaving y'all.
Whoopi was reportedly furious, pacing around backstage demanding to know how this happened. She had dismissed Leavitt on air like she was nothing, but now she was facing a legal nightmare that ABC's executives were not happy about. Behar, usually quick with a snarky remark, wasn't laughing at all this time. She knew her comment about Leavitt being hired for her looks wasn't just controversial, it was something lawyers could use against her. And Sunny Hostin, the show's legal analyst, was especially uneasy. She had confidently brushed off Leavitt's first lawsuit, claiming it would never hold up in court. Now, she was watching ABC's legal team rush into crisis mode. Behind closed doors, producers were scrambling to figure out how to contain the mess. Damage control meetings were happening non-stop, and sources say there were serious conversations about how to handle Whoopi and Joy moving forward. Would they have to publicly apologize? Could ABC really afford to let this lawsuit play out in court?
Well, ABC News has agreed to settle a defamation lawsuit that Donald Trump filed against them. The network will pay Trump $15 million.
ABC executives are in full-blown crisis mode. The second Karoline Leavitt's lawsuit dropped, the network went into a frenzy. The legal team was pulled into urgent meetings, PR strategists were scrambling to spin the story, and producers were quietly freaking out over what this could mean for The View. This wasn't just another media scandal, it was a legal nightmare that could cost the network millions and destroy its credibility. Behind the scenes, execs were reportedly divided. Some wanted to fight the lawsuit, dismiss it as another conservative stunt, and let the lawyers handle it. But others, they were terrified. If this case made it to court, it could expose private emails, behind-the-scenes footage, and conversations that ABC would rather keep buried. Settling might be the only way to contain the damage before it spirals out of control.
That they're going to be hearing directly from the leader of the free world. And the press likes to hear that too. That's something that has not happened over the past 4 years. We've had an incompetent, senile president, as proven by that.
Producers were also in panic mode. Do they address the lawsuit on air, ignore it, and hope it blows over? And what about Whoopi and Joy? Sources say there have been serious discussions about reining in the hosts, maybe even forcing an on-air apology to try and smooth things over. The internet is on fire over Karoline Leavitt's lawsuit against The View, and just like everything else in politics, the public is completely divided. On one side, Leavitt supporters are cheering her on, calling this lawsuit the reckoning the media has had coming for years. They say she's finally holding biased networks accountable for the way they treat conservatives, especially young women who refuse to play by their rules. Twitter and Facebook are flooded with comments like, "It's about time someone stood up to these hypocrites," and "The View smears anyone they don't agree with." Now they're getting a taste of their own medicine. But The View's loyal fans, they're standing their ground. They claim this lawsuit is nothing more than an attack on free speech, with many saying Leavitt is just looking for attention. Some argue that talk shows are meant to have heated debates, and that if conservatives can't handle tough conversations, they shouldn't go on the show at all. One viral comment reads, "This is just another way to silence strong liberal voices. Whoopi and Joy tell it like it is, and that's why people love them."
We will expose the fake news when they are fake. We will hold them accountable for their lies and smears.
Karoline Leavitt's lawsuit against The View isn't just another celebrity legal battle. It could change everything. If this case makes it to court, it could set a massive precedent for how media outlets, especially talk shows, handle political debates.
Never gives honest and truthful answers. All of that is going to change on January 20th, as evidenced by President Trump's press conference at Mar-a-Lago this week, where he took nearly 90 minutes worth of questions from the legacy media. And so nobody cares about access more than President Trump. You knew that as his press secretary. That's going to change come in January.
The question at the heart of this lawsuit, where's the line between free speech and defamation?
They likened President Trump to Hitler. They have mocked him. They have shamed him. They have lied about him.
For years, shows like The View have gotten away with throwing wild accusations at conservative figures, twisting narratives, and mocking anyone who doesn't align with their views. They've always hidden behind the excuse of just having an opinion. But what happens if this lawsuit proves that opinion can cross the line into defamation? If Leavitt wins, it could force networks to rethink how they allow their hosts to speak about public figures, especially when those figures are young, female conservatives who don't fit their agenda. On the other hand, if ABC manages to squash this lawsuit, it sends a very different message, that mainstream media can say whatever they want about their political opponents with zero consequences. That would mean anyone in the public eye, especially conservatives, would have to accept being smeared on national television with no legal recourse.
Get Whoopi Goldberg's ear, and it said, "We're bringing a statement in on a teleprompter." She reads it. So it is over for these far left networks.
The View is in serious trouble, and everyone behind the scenes knows it. With Karoline Leavitt's lawsuit hanging over their heads and public backlash growing by the day, ABC executives are scrambling to figure out what to do next. The once untouchable daytime talk show is now at the center of a controversy that just won't go away, and the future of the show is looking shakier than ever.
Never coming back, Dracula's stake in the heart. Who benefits? News Nation may.
Rumors are already swirling that ABC is considering some major shakeups to protect the brand. Some executives reportedly want to rein in the hosts, especially Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar, who have never been afraid to say whatever they want, no matter how controversial. Could Whoopi be forced to tone it down? Could Joy finally be shown the door after years of towing the line between outspoken and outright reckless? Insiders say nothing is off the table right now. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.